Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi says his relationship or friendship with Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, is officially over, calling the fallout heartbreaking. I think he's promoting a new album. He was on fucking, what's her name? Call Her Daddy recently interview. So he's back out there, just come back off of, I think he just got married recently too. But I think he's promoting a new album. I'm pretty sure he's promoting a new album. But Kid Cudi's making it very clear to everybody that him and Ye aren't on good terms, despite them recently reconciling. So this is probably a recent development of their on-off relationship over the years, which is hard to, sad to see. But let's hear why Kid Cudi doesn't really consider him and Ye's relationship to be on good terms anymore, courtesy of CBS Mornings.
Yeah. And I was cooking up with him and we were on the same frequency.
Yeah.
I felt like I had arrived.
You didn't stay on the same frequency?
No. It's a sad thing,
Sad in what way?
The freedom that we experienced when we were creating, and
yeah,
it just will never happen ever again.
Yeah.
And that is the heartbreaking side of things. But hey, I had a lot of things in my life break my heart, and I've been able to survive and move past it.
Yeah, friendship breakups are the worst, man. I'm going to die on that hill, man. Friendship breakups are far more hurtful, far more painful, far harder to get over than relationship breakups. I swear to God. Friendship breakups, especially how you said before, like all those moments, you just can never, ever, ever, ever get those shit back again. It's fucking, it's sad when it happens, especially on their side of things. So public, yeah, mad.
Did he break your heart in some way?
I think he has over and over multiple times.
From your perspective, in what way?
Just the code of a friendship.
You said you doubted you'd ever be friends again.
Yeah.
You still feel that way?
We've tried since then, but we always have a falling out. He said some things that there's just no coming back from. The comments that he's had about Virgil, Abloh, are just some of the most evil, vile, disturbing up things I've heard. Every time he
and you know what I thought about? When he said that, I thought to myself, hold on, like I forgot what he's even said. It's been this, Kanye does so much crazy shit. He does so much wild shit. Then he disappears, then he comes back and he's normal again. Then he says some more wild shit, disappears, comes back and he's normal again. So it's like a constant fucking, ring-a Rosie type of shit. You forget what he said, and I thought to myself, what did he actually say about Virgil that was so hurtful and painful? I honestly completely forgot because it felt like it's been so long. I did a quick Google, right? I did a quick search on Twitter, and look what I found. One of the things that might have annoyed Kid Cudi, one of the things that might have made Kid Cudi feel away regarding what Ye has said about his late friend and their late friend Virgil.
Oh man, I gotta use the bathroom. Where's Virgil's grave? Okay, so
oh my God.
Just without any provocation, around May 2025, Kanye is on stream with Sneaker, and just without any provocation, without no reason to do so, he says, "I gotta use the bathroom. Where's Virgil's grave?" Fucking unnecessary. So unnecessary, right?
That wasn't. I don't endorse that joke. I don't endorse that joke.
the Quail moment.
The Quail was great. Rest in peace.
But I'll take the Virgil one. Virgil can't come after me.
But one of Virgil's millionaires will, so no one.
Yeah.
One of the people that Virgil changed their lives is gonna come after you, so that means no one's coming after you.
Coming. Tell the security to stand down.
Yeah, put the AR-15s down.
Yeah, you got come on in and have some food.
Yeah.
Fucking, and it's heartbreaking hearing him speak about Virgil in such a disrespectful way, man. R.I.P. to the great Virgil, but Jesus Christ, I get why Cudi's so mad.
took a dig at Virgil, it just made me super angry.
Yeah.
Virgil was an angel to everyone. There's no coming back from that, man. Like, I'm done with you, you know? And it breaks my heart
Bet.
because I loved Kanye, you know? I really loved him. He was part of my life changing. And at some point, he was a really good friend. But the man that he has become, I just don't know that guy anymore.
That last sentence, right? The guy that Ye has become now, I don't know that guy anymore. Am I a little bit messed up in the head if I say the following? A part of me kind of admires, is almost impressed with Ye's ability, Ye's willingness to completely eviscerate and torch his reputation, his standing amongst people like Cudi and stuff, like influential people in culture, music, whatever, you know? Like his willingness to completely burn every fucking bridge, knowing full well that some of those bridges can never be mended again, is impressive in a world where everybody is very careful about what they say to ensure that they stay on people's good side for their own selfish needs. Even if they don't really fuck with a person. Everyone's kind of doing this whole like clout musical chairs, sucking to certain people, saying certain things, you know? But Ye's just like, doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't give a fuck how it's going to look. And just think about it, right? Like, because in my head, I'm picturing, what is it? Madison Square Garden. Remember that whole Madison Square Garden thing with the Yeezy show and Kanye and Young Thug on stage and Ian Connor and Yachty back in the day, right? I'm imagining that whole era where he was on, where he's in a crowd with fucking Cudi and Pusha T next to him. He's doing his Yeezy shows. All those people, all those, like, remember that Yeezy show where it's like, I think it's like Beyonce on the in the crowd, Rihanna there, Diddy there with Cassie. Like all those people, right? He's at the heart of everything. Everyone wants to get close to him. Everyone wants to get near him. He's a genius. He's this, is that. To go from that to be like on his own, only him and Bianca Censori, nobody else around him. Only him and Bianca Censori. No hangers on. Not a lot of people clout chasing. Not a lot of industry friends. Probably zero industry friends. All because he feels like he's been wrong, he's been done dirty. Because that's at the heart of this, right? At the heart of this is Ye's inability to move on from the fact that he feels like Virgil snaked him, essentially, which I don't think is fair. Because the reality of the situation is, most likely, a lot of these companies that Ye was working with, you know, as we've seen over the years, he's a bit of a complicated person to kind of work with. So I just think people just chose Virgil because he's easier to work with. You know, he's not as good as Kanye, obviously, but he does a good enough job, and he's a pleasure to work with. So over the years, they just chose him. That's what that is what happened with the Louis V job. I would imagine so. Now on Ye's side of things, when he tells the whole story, Ye's whole story of why the Virgil getting the Louis job hurt his feelings, it kind of, you know, it's a bit more detailed. In Ye's version of events, he says that the fucking LVMH guy offered him a deal to have his own brand under LVMH. But then they changed their mind last minute, retracted the offer, then next minute he looks online and Virgil's got the Louis Vuitton job. So he can, you know, he can feel a little bit hard done by. But again, that's your friend, man. You can have your issues with LVMH, you can have your issues with the industry, but surely if your friend gets that type of job, you should be happy for your friend. You're like friend. And if you remember, back in the day, how close, right? How close they were together, right? Let's look at some. Look at some of these pictures of how close some of these guys were back in the day. Remember how, like, you know, I used to love their relationship back in the day, right? Virgil was his creative director. If I'm not mistaken, too, in the scene as well in culture, I feel like the whole term creative director and title came about during their era together. Everyone wanted to be a creative director because of Virgil's role in Kanye's career and stuff, and what that meant, and how he was able to progress that from Pyrex to Off-White and shit. So they had an amazing working relationship, right? That you believed was real, that you believed was rooted in love and shit, and wasn't just like an industry thing, right? So yes, you have your issues with LVMH. Yes, you're pissed and gutted that you, the Louis Vuitton Don, didn't get the Louis Vuitton job. But surely if your friend gets a job, you should be over the moon about it. You should be over the moon. But he's never really got over this. And I wonder also if a part of it is because, like, Virgil was always beloved. Kanye's always been kind of, I guess, tolerated because of his talent. Let's be real. If Kanye wasn't as talented in music and in fashion as he is, I don't think people obviously would put up with him. But because his work is so fucking god tier, people are willing to put up with his, horrible personality. But I guess with Virgil, his work isn't as good as Ye's, but people really like him. Even in his passing, you didn't hear a single girl came up and say anything crazy about Virgil touching him and shit and being weird. He had so many glowing tributes from people all over the world and shit. Even now, he's still held in fucking great regard. So I wonder if that is also a part of what was always eating away at fucking Ye. That he's always spoken about in such glowing terms. To some point, some people maybe speak about Virgil highly than they do about fucking Kanye. So imagine how that's going to make you feel. But all in all, it's really disappointing as a big fan of these guys in general to see how it all played out. Especially when you remember when fucking, what's his face? Tremaine from Dead in Tears. You guys remember this detail? This is from 2022 actually. Tremaine from Dead in Tears. You remember when that whole beef was happening and Ye was going after Tremaine and calling him tremendous, and he had that line with Ian Connor that he was dropping, taking a piss out of Tremaine and to the supreme job and calling him a fucking coon, all this sort of nonsense. Tremaine fired back and spilled some tea about what was going on behind the scenes, and this is one of the captions that he wrote and said, "I gotta draw a line at you using Virgil's death in your Ye is the victim cap." By the way, I love how he's doing Ye as in like taking a piss out of that name change, right? Because Ye's using the term Ye basically didn't want to call himself God, innit? Essentially, Kanye doesn't want to be known by his slave name. He wants you to call him God. I've always thought that was interesting, by the way. Don't call me Kanye, call me Ye. What you want us to call you God? Like, Jesus Christ, man, the ego. I love the guy, but Jesus Christ. Tremaine says, "I got to draw the line at you using Virgil's death in your Ye is a victim campaign in front of your sycophantic peanut algorithm gallery. Your best friend Virgil, Negro please. This time last year, you said Virgil's design are a disgrace to the black community in front of all your employees at Yeezy." Jesus Christ. Ask Lucette Holland. I got all the receipts. Imagine saying that about your best friend behind the scenes. That Virgil's designs are a disgrace to the black community. When he was alive, no one ever said Virgil was the best designer. Right? People always were saying that his designs weren't the greatest. But one thing you can never fault him on was his his verve, his passion, his work rate, his output. But just say that anyway, as a friend, is fucking crazy. Maybe fans can say that, critics can say that, but as a friend, to say that their designs are a disgrace to the black community is fucking crazy. It continues. Don't let me get into the things you said about V after his death. Yay, tell the people why you didn't get invited. This is the real shocking and illuminating part that told you a lot. Yay, tell the people why you didn't get invited to Virgil's actual funeral, the one before the public one at the museum. You knew Virgil had terminal cancer and you rode on him in group chats, at Yeezy, at interviews. You are so broken. Keep Virgil's name out of your mouth. Keep Gabriella, Gabriella, I think is that fat lady who used to work at Vogue, who Kanye came after. Remember, I don't know actually. That fat lady, sorry to describe it that way, but there was this bigger lady that worked in Vogue. She was an editor, and this was when Kanye did that show for Yeezy where he had the White Lives Matter t-shirt. And he did it in that fucking place with the fucking spiral staircases. Anyway, this Vogue editor went to that show. She didn't obviously like the White Lives Matter t-shirts, wrote a pretty scathing review of the show. Ye got pissed off and annoyed by her bad review. And Ye decided to do what he always does, decided name calling, bullying, doing this whole nonsense thing to her. And and I think he took a picture of, he used a picture of her and put it on his feed and took the piss out of her outfit. Like, just horrible shit, right? Yeah. Very, very tasteless and classless and whatever. Anyway, so keep Gabriella's name out of your mouth. You're not a victim. You're just an insecure narcissist that's dying for validation from the fashion world. Take care. At least we'll always have Uganda. Nice little sub bomb there. You remember the whole Uganda fucking affair. So yeah, that kind of told us a lot about his standing. So the funny thing is, all of this stuff, this isn't even to do with Ye's relationship or Ye's attitude or Ye's demeanor towards these people. Kid Cudi's basically saying, hey, I can't be friends with Kanye again because of how badly he treated my friend Virgil, or what the things he said about the guy during his time alive and obviously post him dying. And even Tremaine in this caption isn't even saying, oh, this guy's done this to me, done this to me. He's more annoyed at how he's spoke about his friend Virgil. So these type of things you can't redact. Like it's one thing annoying somebody and falling out with them personally, but how will you ever get past this if you're someone like Tremaine, if you're Kid Cudi? How do you get past this if you hold that Virgil guy in such high standing? and you know Kanye said this stuff about him and did this stuff, it's just not gonna, you're not ever gonna be on good terms. So I can completely understand that. And then I decided to quickly have a search on the Yeezy archive to see all the mentions of Ye, where he mentioned Virgil within the last year or so. And so far we got 12 tweets in 2025, right? And they're not good. Let me just say that. 12 tweets in 2025 regarding Virgil. One tweet. Fuck Virgil, right? Another one says, I love Trav, Virgil, and Drake, the realest one of those three, though he not fake. Drake is the realest one of those three, though he not fake. He's just talented as fuck. And yes, it's fuck Virgil. Any of these other niggas that worked for me, that used me, then went against me. I love Virgil, and he loved me. I love Virgil, and he used that very love to beat Nigerians. Are super smart. I don't know what that's about. Another one, fuck Virgil, so everyone remembers I said that. So he's been doubling down on his Virgil hate. So I don't think him and Cudi are ever going to be friends. Another one, Carti is just a way more basic, dumber version of Virgil. Virgil has maxed out Carti's finesse card. Ain't no hugs this time. Jesus, honestly. Kanye is such a hateful person. he's such a mean guy, isn't it? Yeah, he's such a mean guy. Niggas be knowing what they get up to the whole time. Fuck Virgil. The betrayal, Virgil, John Legend, Kim, Trav, Carti, Big Sean, Jay, Ty, Tyler, Dirt, Common, Cudi. Look at his enemy list. Look at Kanye's enemy list. Virgil, John Legend, Kim Kardashian, Travis Scott, Carti, Big Sean, Jay-Z, Ty Dolla $ign, Tyler the Creator, Lil Durk, Common, Kid Cudi, Pusha T, Don C, Amber Rose, the Kardashians, the family, Adidas, Demna and Balenciaga, my own kids, my own family, the black community, and of course, Juice. I love how Ye never looks in the mirror and thinks maybe it's me. I love how Ye never looks in the mirror and thinks maybe I'm the problem. If that's the list of all your enemies, maybe you did something wrong too, innit? Another one, R.E. Virgil. Imagine a nigga steal your dream and is giving your crown because he ain't wear a red hat, and then the culture you built mad at you speaking up on it. My own friends that knew how bad it hurt me came trying to check me for speaking up. I hate when niggas try to tell me what the fuck I can say. Kanye's like, people having a problem with you maybe insulting or speaking badly on Virgil's name isn't the same as people saying you can't say that you're upset that he got the job. I love how he's trying to conflate the two things, you know? It's like, you're allowed to be upset you didn't get the job. You're allowed to speak about you're upset you didn't get a job, but like saying fuck Virgil and calling him out of his name, and if what Tremaine said is true, if Kanye knew the whole time that Virgil was sick and Virgil had cancer, and you're still going after him in the press and saying stuff in the media, that's kind of wild, man. Another one, Virgil let me down. Has anyone seen his widow? Eesh. Jesus Christ. Virgil let me down. Has anyone seen his video? Another one, people don't understand. Virgil getting the LB job was worse for me since we were close. Another one, Bloody Osiris wants to kill Ye now. Concerning my position on Virgil, Bloody Osiris wants to ride out for Virgil. I fucking love it, man. Please don't do anything illegal. I'm snitching. I'm not for the culture. I pay taxes. Play and end up in jail. It's not worth it. Derek B. Lake approached someone about Virgil. From what I hear, there are 8 people with him. I'ma show you how white I can get. I'm not tough. I'm a grown-ass man who I pay taxes, a lot of taxes. I'ma put these tax dollars to work. So yeah, I understand why Kid Cudi said what he said. It's hard to be friends with somebody like Ye. It's really hard to be friends with a guy like Ye when he's talking about a good friend of yours like that. And then not including every stuff he said about Kid Cudi over the years, because he said some mad stuff about Kid Cudi. So I get where Kid Cudi's coming from.